Do you have a Ubiquiti account or know someone that does? Want to keep that account from being hacked? Stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to protect that account. Welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter, your home for all things relating to smart home technology. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to keep your Ubiquiti account from being hacked. Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and we're going to be working on this together. This content is also available as an Amazon flash briefing or podcast. Please go to techbiteswithronnutter.com for more information. For any items mentioned in this episode, there are affiliate links in the description. If you click on these links, I will get a small commission. Bet that won't affect the price you pay for the item. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on subscribe now and enable notifications. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on that like button, thumbs up. Now, here's what we're going to be talking about in this video. The email that started this whole process. Changing your password, and trust me, you've got that if you've been into your UI account anytime recently. But most importantly, setting up that two-factor authentication, which I'll admit I haven't done. Let's get started. Well, by now you've probably ever heard, maybe even seen some other videos about the recent email that came out from Ubiquiti, their site being hacked, and some things you need to do. So what we're going to do is switch over here, and then you'll see the email that I got. So they're being proactive, bless their little hearts, in that they don't go into details, which really from an investigative standpoint, that information does not need to go out because that tells potential hackers how their system was gotten into. But it does let you know that, hey, they saw a problem and they're wanting to be proactive. Now, I take this to the next step. While you've got the option of changing the password, which you should do at a minimum, and enabling two-factor authentication, which you haven't done already, you really should, and we're going to cover that too. I don't go from the links in this email because if the system, we don't know for sure that the system has been hacked. I mean, that's the standpoint I look at it. So what we do is I'm actually going to go to the website direct, and that's where this journey gets started. Now, as you can see, I'm already logged in, so I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, in terms of changing the password, I'm already in on the account.ui.com/security. So this is where you'll go to make those changes. And you know how to change a password. I'm not going to go through a presentation on that. You're going to see something else here in just a second, where if you're not used to coming up with strong passwords, that is certainly an option. And then if we go over here and look in Bitwarden, there is a way where you can have it generate a secure password. So that's something to think about as well, because if you're not one to easily come up with passwords, and there's days that, trust me, I have challenges. I can't think of something unique. You can use something like Bitwarden to make that happen. And you can select session, timeout. So 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. If there's nothing set, I would say 1 day at a minimum. I wish they would have it set sooner, but okay, that's fine. I know there's reasons for that. Now that we've seen that, if you're not used to coming up with a strong password or not sure some of the best ways to do it, let's cover that. Now, I want to stop things for just a minute before we get started with what we're working on in this video, and that's to go over a few steps in helping you create a strong password. Now, I know I'm one of the first ones to admit I hate having to think up a new password. And now, because of all the different hacking vulnerabilities, and there's people out there trying to get into your account, the key thing is you don't have to make it easy for them. Make it just difficult enough that they'll move on to somebody who's not going to be as well prepared as you are after you go through this part of the process. We'll tap the little, what looks like a refresh icon, and that's going to bring up a password generator. This is something Bitwarden has built in, and you're going to hear me talk about Bitwarden a lot. That's because I'm doing a lot of videos on their product. They're not paying for that one. I just found a good product, and I'm going with it. But it also can help you take away some of the less pleasant tasks of creating a password. So by default, it's set up for 14 characters, which the rule of thumb is the more characters you have in the password, the longer it's going to take for someone to break it. And then if you have a mixture of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, if you have special characters. Now, this is where you'll see some sites say special characters. They will think asterisk is a special character. Well, I consider it sometimes punctuation, or if you do an apostrophe or double quote. Anything you do outside of what a standard word would be, and this will be something you'll hear about called a dictionary attack, and that is something that you want to avoid. Anything that somebody can look up in a dictionary, you don't want to be using as a password. Even if you make a few little alterations to it, still, they're going to be prepared for some of that. So let's go back here, and what we'll do is you may have to experiment with this on the website you're doing with. Now, the same functionality that's in the smartphone app is also in the desktop. It just, the smartphone app gives me some flexibilities on showing this to you a little bit. By default, that's what you'll see it when it comes up in. So it has that disabled. There are some websites that don't like those characters being used. Don't know why. Would love to have an explanation. So if you're running a website and you won't accept those kind of characters, please reach out to me. Help me understand, and I will pass it on to everybody who watches this channel. You can specify the minimum number of characters. You can specify the minimum number of special characters. So if we turn on special characters, we crank it up, well, you can start seeing we can really add some perceived difficulties. And as you scroll down here, and you can, now one thing you want to make sure you check on this, and that's to disable what is called ambiguous characters. That's a big word, but what it really amounts to is there are certain letters and numbers that look almost the same depending on the font that your computer is using. For example, 1 and lowercase l. Those can look very close and be very hard to distinguish. Now, if you're not used to working with two-factor authentication, trust me, this is easy. You've got this. Now, you start the process by clicking on the little button there to enable that. Now, it does say download and install Google Authenticator on your phone. That is a good option to start with. The disadvantage to that option, and this is not a criticism on the folks at Ubiquiti, you have to, if you want to have this on more than one smartphone or tablet, you have to re-import all the QR codes or the magic key that's on the below each QR code. So there are options of how to do it, and one that I've been using a lot lately is Bitwarden. It's an additional subscription option to turn this feature on, but trust me, it's worth it. So we'll just type Ubiquiti, and we will type username at WorkCom. I'll fix that here shortly. And then the password I will get entered. Now, you see where it's got the one-time field? Fine. Now we're going to switch back over here, and we're going to enable that. Now, this is something that you want to capture with your smartphone and install and store the image in Google Keep, OneNote, Evernote, pick something. But this way, if you have to recreate it on another device, you've got that available. So what we'll do here is we'll just cut and paste the secret code. And then we'll go down here. And I'll just put something here. Not that we really matter. Now, you do have to save it to see this. And we'll just call this Now, once we save it, this is going to change. And bingo, there it is. So what you'll want to do here, now see that timer is going to decrement. When it gets within a second or two of expiring, you may not be able to use it. So we'll copy that code and we'll go back over here. You can call it, they're going to call it token, but oh, okay, we got to paste the field in there and submit. And it's happy. Now, you can generate backup codes, and this is something that is also a good thing to do in case you didn't have your smartphone or tablet or whatever device that you've got, either Bitwarden or whatever password manager you're using, is generate new backup codes. Oh, so they want the token in there. Okay, so we have to go back over here, which is fine. That's fine. I'm glad they're taking that approach. Okay, so that just got started. So we'll come back over here, and then we will go here and generate new backup codes. Now, this is something also to install within or put in your notes field within whatever password manager app you're using. These codes are handy to use when you have the situation. Again, your smartphone's not available or it keeps rejecting the code. These are one-time codes, so as you use each one of these codes, then that's it. They're done. You can never use that one again. And when you get past 10, just regenerate the new backup codes and you're set, ready to go. So I've given you several different options to work with. Again, kudos to the folks at Ubiquiti for doing what they did in terms of sending out a notification. They're not sure that how much it got compromised, if it got compromised at all. So that's fine. I would rather have that kind of situation and react now instead of after the fact. But this is two things. Again, always change your password when something like that happens. And if you haven't turned up two-factor authentication, go ahead and go ahead and set that up. And if you have already set it up, depending on your level of precaution, you can certainly destroy the previous entry and come up with a whole new system. Again, if you're just wanting to take it to every reasonable precaution. But now you've got a way of having everything protected. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will see videos on the screen that are similar to the one you've just watched or other content that YouTube thinks you might be interested in. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on that like button, thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on subscribe now and enable notifications. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.